Astrobot is everything we have needed as PlayStation fans. I've always been a PlayStation guy. We have had a lot of games within the same mold for the last 10 years. Sad dad simulators, third-person narrative-driven games. We love them. Of course we do. They have all been excellent. Yes, even The Order 1886. I will die on this hill. Surprisingly, Sackboy's Big Adventure largely got ignored by the fans, but it is an excellent game itself. It also is a lot more challenging. But Astrobot fills the classic 3D platformer mold. It is the best of what makes these games fun to experience, to explore and find what's hidden, which is pretty much the whole premise of Astrobot. To find and collect all the 3 different hidden types of collectibles in this game. You have the bots themselves, some being themed around PlayStation IP or IP tied closely to PlayStation, which are the VIP bots, and then the plain old bots that aren't themed but are filler pretty much. Then you have the puzzle pieces and the secret exits. The secret exits were my favorite part for sure. They were creative ways they found to make a secret escape from the stage. The downsize surprise secret exit was probably my favorite out of all of them. I did, however, love the first one on the Aztec Trail because of the torches on the wall. I kept running past them and I could not figure out where the secret exit was, and I was trying to find these on my own. A lot of the time I felt the bots were hidden well and in clever ways. I can't tell you how many times I felt I searched everywhere and still missed a bot upon completing a board. Then I found the 1 or 2 I missed and I would chuckle to myself because you would think they would be obvious. One of the snowboards, I jumped right over the bot, buried in the snow right in front of the stage's end flag post. It was funny because I did the level 2 times before I finally seen him and I instantly felt stupid. But it's these type of moments that made me love and appreciate this game so much. I play 95% of PlayStation all the time. I play certain games outside of PlayStation when I have a strong desire to play them. Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, for example. But I will tell you right now, I love this game more than Odyssey, which I've seen people compare this game to, or Sunshine, or Galaxy. I loved Odyssey, but I love this game so much more. A big reason being the quality of the game itself. It being a high-quality, first-party 3D platformer, a AAA game, and high resolution, with HDR. I played this on a 32-inch Alienware 4K 240Hz monitor, obviously only hitting 60 frames per second, but the game looked so good on this monitor. As it should, it's such a vibrant world, but it just feels good to have a platformer with this kind of a budget. I've played every Astrobot game before this. Playroom VR was actually my first VR experience, and I played it because it was on my father-in-law's PlayStation. He passed away, and I inherited his PSVR. So I booted it up and instantly fell in love with the game. Not just Astrobot as a character, but VR itself. That game was amazing. I beat it and I got the platinum and I instantly went and bought Rescue Mission when it released. Then when I found out Astro's Playroom was going to be baked into the PS5, I was so happy. It was the first PS5 game I beat and got a platinum for. I had Valhalla, and I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I had Miles Morales, and I love the Spider-Man games. I had Devil May Cry 5. I still chose to play Playroom first. I was more excited for that game than any other game. I have loved PlayStation since I was a kid. When my dad gave me his PS1 for my birthday, to celebrate PlayStation's past within a game was a wonderful experience. Brought back so much nostalgia and memories from my childhood. When Astrobot was announced, I was too delighted. But more importantly, I was excited because it was the first full AAA Astrobot game. Dream come true. I pre-ordered the most expensive edition right away to support this game because I wanted more of it. I never pre-order games. The last game I pre-ordered was either Modern Warfare 3 on PS3 or Battlefield 3. Peak FPS games, by the way. So yes, I was incredibly hyped for this game, and it did not disappoint. It's so creative in design. This game was also not easy for me because I suck at platforming. My timing has always been trash in life. It wasn't hard except for the challenge levels, which I will get into later. But it's not like it was a complete cakewalk for me either. Collecting all 301 bots was probably the funnest adventure I've had in a game since Mario Odyssey. Often when I'm sad or depressed, or sometimes I just want to cheer up a bit, I always think of Nintendo games as a gamer. Pokemon, Mario, Animal Crossing, Zelda, etc. There is something about the magic of Nintendo games that brings a smile to my face and cheers me up. There's an aura to them. This game captured that aura, and for the first time in my life, I get a similar experience on PlayStation. Playroom VR was the first time I got that experience actually, where I was smiling like a dumb donkey in the headset. PlayStation had needed Astrobot for a long time, and he is not only the unintentional mascot for PlayStation, but he is the best mascot in gaming in my opinion. Another reason I love this game more than Odyssey is because Astrobot is just cute, and so is the world around him. Mario really isn't, though I've always enjoyed the vibrant worlds around him, and a lot of Mario games have a ton of cutesy stuff in them, especially in regard to the power-ups. But Astrobot is so much cuter of a character, and he also has a cool factor because he's a robot. Also, mark my words now, he will have his own standalone movie in CGI, and it will do numbers. And then everyone will know and adore Astrobot. Remember the ones who were there first. Egos aside, PlayStation happened across something that is great for their brand and will help them tremendously going forward. Astrobot is the future, and he represents the future. He is technology. He is what we would want our robots of the future to be. To me, this game also highlights why Studio Japan should have never been shut down. Their creative minds and the Japanese charm they have was necessary to bring diversity to the PlayStation portfolio, and their spirit lives within Team Asobi. And Team Asobi may have just become top 3 important studios within the PlayStation brand. Team Asobi brings a fresh coat of paint to the PlayStation brand, and their games could convince a lot of kids to want PlayStations, especially if the rumors are true and a handheld is going to be releasing alongside the PlayStation 6. The price of being the place to play will also be the only barrier for PlayStation. When I was a kid, I never wanted anything more than the PSP, and when I got it, it was some of the best moments of my life. If Sony can recreate that feeling these days, it will do great for the company, especially with talent like Team Asobi by their side. Most of the enemies in Astrobot were easy. The two that annoyed me the most were the spitter blobs and those fake Angry Birds. The birds especially on the challenge levels. I really hate those birds, like a lot. But overall, it was good to have some of these small challenges for myself, because it made sure the game wasn't so easy that it was boring. Some of the other enemies, like the ghosts and the jack-o'-lanterns, were a bit more challenging too. Overall, I think the enemy types were great and a solid mixture. I think my favorite level was the bathhouse level. The aesthetic was awesome, and I thought the sponge power-up was really cool. I also liked the downsized surprise level with the mouse power-up. Or is it a power down? I think the mechanics in that level were genius tier game design. It's hard to decide a favorite because so many were great. Also, shout out to the spooky levels that reminded me of Luigi's Mansion, especially the level with the flashlight you have to hit the ghosts with. I also really liked the levels where you have to hit the switches and then the board flips over. That was awesome. One night I was drinking and I was playing that level, and there was a bot that I had to flip the board to get to, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was just laughing to myself because I was inebriated and I could not figure it out. I eventually did, and it was joyous, glorious. The boss battles in this game were superb. I enjoyed the hell out of those, and they were creative. I think my favorite would have to be the chameleon boss, because I liked the whole time slowing down mechanic. I think the last time I used it in a video game was God of War 2 on PS2, and it is definitely one of my favorite mechanics I've experienced in gaming. The boss battles were all fun and unique. Not too challenging, but not too hard. I really liked that every galaxy had a planet themed around PlayStation IP, and the Loco Roco one was easily my favorite because it truly felt like a different game. I was sitting here letting my son play the game, and he ended up going to the Ape Escape level, and I didn't know that these extra levels were a thing, the final levels. And then I seen him over here playing it, and I was just like, what? Give me the controller. Like, what? It was crazy. I love that they did this. The Uncharted level was also really cool because they threw the little puzzles, in quotations, in there. The God of War one made me smile big as hell because it felt like I was playing God of War, but a child's version of it, trying to get all the ravens, throwing the axe and leaving it behind while I punched the enemies just to call it back to me, using it to stop platforms from moving so I could jump on them. It was one of the biggest joys of this game. I don't care for Horizon Zero Dawn as much as others, so I didn't care for her level as much, but I did appreciate the tall neck in the game. It's not that I don't like Horizon, it's just the first Sony game that I've struggled to get into. It just hasn't captured my attention like the others. The worlds were all designed well and fun. Actually, this is the first platforming game where not only did I not dislike at least one single level, but the first platformer, I didn't hate the water. I hate navigating water in games, especially platformers. I thoroughly enjoyed the water level in this game. It was fun. And that poor starfish. Why did they do my boy like that? Obviously, one of the most exciting aspects of this game is all the different bots themed around so many IPs throughout PlayStation's history, called the IP bots. I think my favorite one to find was Laura. When I got to her area and I seen her sneaking past the giant blocks to get to the chest, I chuckled, and then I snuck up behind her and gave her a swift kick in the... I can only imagine that certain characters' absences are related to DLC in the future. It kind of made me scratch my head that Jin made an appearance but no other characters from Ghost of Tsushima did. But you have a whole setup for Uncharted, Ape Escape, God of War, and Horizon at the crash site. I get they had their own worlds. I expect for Ghost of Tsushima to be in a DLC, or they are saving it for the future. I was also curious why there was no Siphon Filter, Twisted Metal, Heavy Rain, or Resistance characters in the game, which really surprised me. And they did the Hellgas from Killzone in a very generic way. Maybe some of this has to do with the eventual sequel, but those were weird choices to leave out in my opinion. Also, I don't like that the OG God of War characters or old Kratos weren't in the game, not even a wink or a nod for them. They are a huge part of my love for PlayStation, and top 3 game series of all time for me. And a hot take, I love the old God of Wars a lot more than the new ones. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the absence of Square Enix. They are the only ones to not show up to the party at the crash site. Are your characters too good to be rescued by Astrobot Square? Originally, I thought it would be because they would have a huge DLC for them, until I heard Nicholas Doucet told Gene Park of the Washington Post that they tried to respect the publisher's wishes, so Square Enix and 9 others refused to have their IP in the game. I hope they come around eventually. It would have been cool to see Tenchu and Kurosawa from Ninja Shadow of Darkness. And I really despise that Sony loves to pretend that the Order 1886 does not exist, but it is literally one of the best worlds built within the PlayStation brand. It just needs to be executed better. Also, Rayman, Sonic, and anything Assassin's Creed is absent. No GTA, Red Dead, or Bully characters are in the game. I would also have liked to seen a Dragon Ball Z bot or two because Budokai was peak PS2. And no Mortal Kombat characters is interesting given Ryu and Ken are in the game, and they are less synonymous with PlayStation than Mortal Kombat, I think. Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon?
Come on, man.
The hub world in this game, just like Astro's Playroom, was my favorite aspect of this game. Seeing all characters 305 on the screen at once and how you interact with them is so charming. Their own special animations. The ones playing right now were my favorites. Solid Snake hiding under a box and then you kick it and you see he has a dirty magazine has to be my favorite because they hid it perfectly. So kids don't know, but as an adult you laugh. Bunnies with hearts. I laughed pretty hard at that one. The gotcha machine was fun as it always is. Excited to see what cool thing you will get next. I love the inclusion of the outfits, though the only one I really wanted to use was Ratchet's. I also would like to give Team Asobi credit for hiding 4 bots in Astro's Playroom that get added to Astrobot. It was a pretty cool idea, as was the basement for the launch countdown. No studio has used the DualSense to its fullest potential like Team Asobi. They deserve so much credit for it. Returnal is definitely a game that competes with this as far as truly utilizing it, but its implementation in this game was excellent, especially the blocks you had to feel to see which one was the right one to push or hit with your boosters. This clip right here shows exactly why Astrobot is peak gaming. You had to blow on the DualSense to blow the candles out, stop time, jump on the candles, and hop over to save Chris Redfield. Bro, the biggest smile in the game for me, probably my favorite moment in this game. Now I want to talk about the challenge levels. Oh boy, did they annoy me. Honestly, I think most of them I beat within 20 minutes, but the spike in difficulty was crazy. The game went from a casual stroll in the park to 3 Doberman pinchers infected with the T-virus chasing you around and you hopping all around the playset, but your nerves. I rather enjoyed beating these, but I was also excited when I was done, just to find that nope, you collect all the bots and the puzzle pieces in the game and your reward is actually just more torture. And the final stage took me 3 hours to beat. I'm not proud of it, but those angry birds are total bullshit. And the triangle ones, I swear I jumped through the center of those things and I felt cheated. Somehow I kept missing the center. Oh, and then I would go to the end and surprise, one more batch comes out the cannons and rains on my f***ing parade. I really hate those birds. My girlfriend started talking to me while I was playing, and she was like, maybe I should leave you alone. I was raging. I told her no, just keep talking, 'cause you'll distract me and I'll beat it eventually. And I did. Right after I said that, to find Chop Chop Master Onion at the end as the 301st bot, the final bot, instantly thought, kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
As soon as I got distracted by her and stopped being so annoyed by the game, I beat it. It was the perfect ending to this game. I only had one trophy left to get the platinum, and I saved it on purpose. I've platinumed every Uncharted game, and I've always loved the Easter egg treasures, so I saved the trophy for getting all the golden egg artifacts for last. The final boss battle was fun. Even though the sword part really annoyed me, I kept hoping that I wouldn't get the sword part. Even the end credits for this game were awesome. All of the bots flying around on PlayStation hardware was really cool, and it made me appreciate PlayStation and its history even more. It goes back to what I said. Team Asobi is the heart and soul of PlayStation Studios right now, and we have needed them for a long time inside of the PlayStation brand. Creative and fun ideas, charm and witty designs. They nailed this game. This game is special. If I had one criticism of this game and the series in general, it would be a lack of a proper arch nemesis for Astrobot, because UFO Guy is not it. He needs his Bowser, his King K. Rool, his Cortex. This is my wish for Astrobot as a IP, my one strong criticism of it. Giving him a proper nemesis will do wonders for the IP and will turn it into a major box office hit someday and help all the little kids around the world know exactly who Astrobot is. But this game is now top 5 games of all time for me, my GOATY. I look forward to the next game, and I look forward to playing the remastered version on PlayStation 6. Easy 10 out of 10 for me. A masterpiece, a masterclass in game design, a brilliant and charming game full of wit, wonder, and excitement. Before this game, I would not have thought it possible to love Astrobot any more than I did. Team Asobi deserves all the accolades, and I hope they sweep the Game Awards.